Welcome. You are listening to the Leading Hope podcast. My name is VJ Williams, here with my friend and Celtics fan and pastor, Kevin Jack.
My son got this shirt for me if you're watching on video.
Oh, yeah? That's good. What's up, Parker? Hey, thank you for joining us and taking time out of your day to become a better leader. If you're new, release a new episode every Wednesday. You can find us on YouTube or any podcast platform. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Get this automatically delivered to you every Wednesday morning. Also, share it with a friend on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. And rate and review on Apple Podcasts. That just ensures that this gets into the hands of so many more leaders just like you. Visit leadinghope.online to get updates and find out more about the Leading Hope community. Kevin, today we just came out of a 4-part series. Exciting stuff. Great. I mean, that was a great series. Loved it. And now you've got something new for us.
Yeah, just 1 week.
1 week? One week. Here we go. Episode 127. So You're Not Creative.
Oh, that's good. You said that with a perfect tone of voice.
Thank you.
I like it. So You're Not Creative. So I want to dive into today something that I've been hearing a lot. I'll hear people say something like, well, I'm not creative. I'm not a creative. I don't do that. Sorry, I'm not creative. And I just want to kind of address that because I think it could be a massive limiting factor in understanding what you can do. And so I want to be clear on this is what we're saying is like, I want to say at the very beginning, everyone is creative. I'm not saying everyone's artistic. You're creative.
There you go.
And sometimes we make those two the same things. We go, well, because I'm not an artist, because I can't paint or draw or sculpt or play an instrument, I'm not creative. No, you might not be artistic.
Right.
You might not have an artistic bone in your body, but that doesn't mean that you're not creative.
That's good.
Now, obviously with the caveat, everybody can learn, everybody can develop. But I wholeheartedly believe that creativity is hardwired into everyone.
Yeah.
And so, honestly, today you may be in a spot and you may go, I'm super creative. Everyone around me is creative. I'm good to go. You might be good to go. Okay. Today is for the person who doesn't feel like they're creative, who doesn't feel like they're innovative, who feels like everyone else is more than them. I want to break it down. Or the person who is creative, who has someone in their life who doesn't view themselves as creative, and they want to have some language to help them. So let's break this down a little bit. So creativity, definition of creativity, is relating to or involving the imagination of original ideas. Relating to or involving the imagination of original ideas. So here's the first thing we need to just clarify. Creativity is not a singular talent, but it is actually a collection of skills that are learnable. So when someone says, I'm not creative, what they're doing is they're combining a whole bunch of smaller things, lumping it as one, which makes it easy to opt out of because they don't understand. No, it's these other pieces put together. And when these other pieces all come together, that is what results in creativity. And so when you break it down, you can actually see, well, I don't feel like I'm creative because I struggle at this. So here are kind of the key pieces. Again, not artistic, creative. Key talents, the ability to see problems, which is a skill. Granted, I would say I feel like this is the skill that most people excel at because the cynicism has been viewed as a spiritual gifting for too many people in our world. But to say like the ability to actually, see this is wrong, this could be done better, this is ineffective, this is inefficient, this is not beautiful, whatever that is, the ability to see problems for your unique perspective. Second one, the ability to envision solutions. To imagine how it could be better, how it could run more efficient, more effective, be better, be more pleasing, be more aesthetic, whatever that is, the ability to envision solutions. And then a key piece is to take both of those and to have the courage to create, to name and clarify what's actually wrong, to pursue what could be better within this, and have the courage to march through and to do something different. Now, again, we mostly think of this in terms of artistic work. So we would say, what's the problem? We have a blank canvas. I said that poorly. We have a blank canvas. We have something that could be better. This doesn't look pleasing. Whatever that is, this emotion is not properly captured captured with what we currently have. This experience needs to be memorialized or symbolized, if we could draw back on one of our earlier episodes. And so we're going there, like, that's the problem. So the solution in terms of artistic is the artistic creation. But it functions a similar parallel in terms of all creativity. And to say, we have these problems, and the solution lives in the invention, in the innovation, in the system upgrade, in whatever that, in the team adaptation. That is where creativity lives. So I want to make it simple, and then I want to break it down in terms of how you can be creative. Creativity is three things, and this is going to seem redundant, and this is going to seem stupid, but I think it's important for us to capture for those who don't feel that they're creative. Creativity is three things. It is solving common problems with unique solutions. It is taking a thing that we all see and having a particular angle on how it could be better, how it could be solved, how it could be different, that maybe is a discipline applied from a different field. Maybe it's a learning that you had from a completely different realm of life. It is envisioning a new way to solve a common problem. Creativity is solving common problems with unique solutions. Second, creativity is solving unique problems with common solutions. It is the same thing. It's saying, like, hey, here's this unique thing, but we could actually just do this. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. And then the third piece is the obvious piece. It's solving unique problems with unique solutions. It's entering a new category and blazing a trail. Now, you may look at that. You may go, okay, so we're talking about it is solving common problems with unique solutions, unique problems with common solutions, and unique problems with unique solutions. Why do these categories matter? This is why. I bet you could do one of them. Like, I'm serious. Like, I bet you there's one of those that you're good at. You may not be good at all of them, but I bet you there's one. You go, hey, here's this unique thing. I bet you I could invent a totally different way to do it. Or I bet you I could take this innovation from this area and drop it down into here. Or I bet you I could take this thing that no one has looked at because it's so obvious it's been overlooked, and we could use this as the solution to this problem. And all of these are creative.
That's good.
All of these are creative. You cannot pinpoint it down to one thing, because if you excuse and go, I'm just not creative, I'm not a creative person, I'm not a creative, you're going to miss your unique contribution to the work that you're doing. So I want to give you some things to know about creativity, okay, that will hopefully help you identify with this. First thing is, if creativity is relating to or involving the imagination of original ideas, the first thing to know is everyone can imagine. You can. I'm not saying everyone does, but there is not a kid in the world who does not have the ability to daydream. I could put as a side note and a small tangent, I actually get worried. Will kids retain the ability to daydream? Because they have lost all boredom in their lives, and that's been inundated with technology and screens. So there is a piece of me that goes, that may be a sparse skill in the near future. But I wholeheartedly believe that everyone can imagine. But because everyone can do that, I think we often miss that being able to imagine is a skill. Being able to allow your mind to drift into the unknown and to make connections is a skill that will get better over time. Now, if you don't use that skill, it's like if you don't use that muscle, it's going to atrophy. There are so many adults that you had this ability years ago and you don't now because you let that muscle atrophy. I would say, if you want to be more creative, you need to get better at imagining. I have not met a single child in my entire life who said, just not creative. Why don't you go play? They may say, I'm bored. Play what? Do this. And you go, think of something. Make something up. Almost every child's able to do that. Unless if they're just needy and whiny, which mine are often. But like, they're able to do that. No kids are going, sorry, Mom, I'm not a creative. Because imagination is within all of us, but it's also a skill that can be developed. Second piece, things to know about creativity. Imitation always precedes innovation.
Ooh.
Imitation always precedes innovation. What someone else views, so like we get this idea to go like, if I'm going to be creative, I've got to have this brand new idea that no one's ever thought of and no one's ever seen. And they go, I'm not really able to do that. I can take someone else's idea and make it better.
So good.
That's how creativity works.
Yes.
Like that's how it grows and builds over time.
It.
And so what you view as someone else's completely unique original idea is actually rooted in years of discipline and practice and just immersing themselves in their field. And so it comes into the surface as it's this brilliant, original, no one's ever heard of it idea. But the reality is that there's so much time and effort and small tweaks and advancements and building off others' ideas and failed attempts and sometimes good attempts that didn't go far enough. Like it's all those pieces, but it's always imitation first.
Yep.
It's always imitation first. If I could share this, like speaking wise, I think the first 2 years that I spoke, I didn't have an original idea. Like I would give messages to my students and youth group. I don't think I had an original idea for 2 years.
Yeah.
And I'd hear someone else's sermon, and I thought, I'm not going to do any better than that.
Yeah.
I'll try to make it my own. I'll try not to plagiarize it outright so my 18 teenagers don't rat me out or something like that.
Yeah.
But to say is like, man, it takes time. And then over time, now I'm at a spot where like I have trouble going off of someone else's idea because I want it to be my own.
Yeah. Can we stick on this for a couple
Yeah,
more
let's
seconds?
go for it.
Sure. Ring.com, right? Like
Okay.
Ring. They didn't make video cameras.
Yes.
They didn't make video cameras have been around for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
They took the video camera, they stuck it on your door, and they
didn't make doorbells either.
They didn't make doorbells either. But they took an existing thing, they stuck it on your door because people are now getting packages at all times, all the days, and they wanted to make sure they saw where the packages were or watched their neighborhood. And so they took an existing thing that already worked for multiple reasons and put it on a door and made $1 billion because Amazon bought them.
Yep.
But that's the concept.
Oh, I didn't know Amazon bought them.
Oh, yeah. Amazon.
Oh, there we go.
How about that? There you
The
go.
things you learn.
Yeah. For $1 billion.
Yeah.
So
So we take it back to the categories.
Yeah.
Like what they did is they solved a unique problem with two common solutions that came together.
There it is.
Yeah. But it's
Examples are good.
It's imitation.
Yes.
We'll take this and we'll take that and nothing new. Oh, these will come together.
That's it.
Easy enough.
Yeah.
I wrote here in my notes, we often have to do what everyone does before we can do what we uniquely can do.
Oh, that's good.
We have to run through the path that other people have run through before we can figure out what our own path is.
That's good.
Third thing that you need to know about creativity, and this is maybe the most important one. Okay, so we're talking through like imagine everyone's creative. Imagination is a skill that can be developed, but it's within all of us. Imitation precedes innovation. Third one, be willing to be bad. Be willing to be bad. The ultimate person who is held up on this is Thomas Edison. I don't remember how many failed attempts at the light bulb he had, but he didn't view them as failed attempts. He learned all these different ways not to make a light bulb until he found that, I forget, the number always gets higher anytime someone tells me the story. Thomas Edison learned 7 bazillion ways how not to make a light bulb.
I love bazillion.
But it's that piece of to say, hey, you have to be willing to be bad at first. You have to be willing to imitate other people and figure out what works for you before you can step into your own. And so anytime I hear someone who says, I'm not creative, I either think like it's one of a couple things. They either have the definition and understanding of creativity wrong. They mean artistic instead of, I'm not very artistic.
Right.
Like I've tried to draw.
Yeah.
I'm not good. It's just not a skill that I have. But I am creative. And so when they say I'm not creative, either they're confusing terminology, or this is probably the more important one, is they don't have the courage to fail. They're too scared of failing
That's good.
to actually be able to step out and be bad at first. And what I say is like, man, we overstate the role of the prodigy. We overstate what that is of the person who just sits down and they are instantly brilliant.
Yes.
Because in 99.9% of the cases, that is not the case. And that is even actually lowballing the percentage on there to say the person who's just a prodigy at math or at piano or an instrument or painting or drawing, or maybe for the purpose of this podcast, the most important piece, leadership. Can I say it like this? You're probably going to be a bad leader before you're a good leader. but you're never going to learn how to be a good leader if you don't start leading. And so you have to be willing to learn how not to be a bad leader through practice, trial, and error in order to become better. And as part of that, you're taking what you're learning on problem solving, on creation, on invention, which is innovation, which starts with imitation. And you're taking all these pieces and you're helping it drive you to become creative as a leader, because you're not going to write yourself off as, I'm just not creative.
Man, there's so much to talk about, and we have less than 5 minutes. But here's the powerful thing, man. You're dead on. Everyone is creative.
Yes.
Everyone. I can't draw either. But I can take a series of different images and create something pretty cool. I
Yes.
just can.
Yeah.
Right? But I can't draw anything, but I can see things because like you said, it's time and skill, and you want to do it, and you're not afraid. If it looks like crap, who cares? I'll move on to the next one. Yep. I'm not afraid of people's opinions of the creativity that God has given me. Speaking of, let's just talk about it. Here we go. Let's just say that. Would you say God is creative?
Yes.
Are you
he created, so.
Right. But like you look at the landscapes and the, not to get all into the nature thing, but you look at all that. God is pretty creative, like the animal, all of it, right? Creation.
Yes.
We're made in God's image.
Yes.
We are creative.
Absolutely.
End of story. In a podcast. I mean,
you
like,
are creative.
Right? Like you're made in God's image. So therefore, you may not be able to have very specific, unique abilities, but you have the ability to be creative because it's in your DNA. It's in your makeup.
And if you don't accept that, you are discounting your God-given potential to make an impact, because probably you're scared of failing. Because we've already redefined to say we're not talking artistic, we're talking creative. Don't be scared of failing.
Yeah. Be
able to take those steps to become creative and make your unique contribution.
I wanted to save that to the end because it just sounded better. But here's the other part, is that when we talk about being creative and some of the problems that we see in today, and I'm just as guilty, so hand raised here, is that we don't spend enough time in thought.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right? So that we don't think we're creative because we're not spending any time in thought, in thinking, just turning off the phone, turning off the TV, not being in meetings, not having Zoom calls for 10 days straight, all those things, right?
Yep.
And being in thought. Like allow God to speak to you, and then you can learn the skill of being more creative. It's like I know that you spend time in thought.
Yeah.
And that's go ahead.
If I could refer back, episode 99 is think. And that was the entire focus there, was to say, like,
good job looking
look
at you.
Look at
up stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
right here, baby. It was right here.
Impressive.
Yeah, but that entire episode was on the idea of to say, don't rush to the experts. Take some time yourself. Give yourself the ability, like a moment, to actually think through it for yourself.
You said it just a little bit ago too in this episode, where you said, "Hey, when we were kids, you're like your parents. They would, hey, I'm bored," or like, "Well, go think of something."
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Like, and that's where it starts.
Your boredom is not my responsibility.
Yeah, but like go think of something to do. I've used that 100 times. My parents used that on me. Go think of something to do, meaning we all have the ability to think creatively.
That's good, V.
That's good stuff.
That's good.
End this up, man. 127. So you're not creative.
Yeah, you are. Can I make it as simple as that? You are. Don't discount your unique contribution. Learn the skills that get associated with creativity, and then you will make your unique contribution.
Oh, it's so good. You are more creative than you'll ever know. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you're new to the podcast or haven't yet subscribed, be creative and hit the subscribe button today. Also post about it, rate and review, or both. You won't believe how that helps get this podcast in so many more leaders' hands just like yours. Share it with your teams, and we love hearing your stories, how the podcast is working in your life or business. If you have a story, visit leadinghope.online and send that to us. We would love to hear from you. And remember, everyone has 20 minutes to learn to become a better leader. Make it count.